Hello and welcome to my tutorial on how to set up and lube your cube in the year 2025. What you will need for this tutorial is the cube you would like to lube. So you will also need tools in which to tension your cube. So some cube companies give specific tools. So with this GAN cube, I have this tool to tension my cube. I also have this tool in order to take off the center caps. However, most companies don't have tools to take off the center caps. You can just pry it off with your fingers, but do be careful because some can snap, so you have to be very careful. So as well as your tensioning tools, you will also need the lubricants that you want to lube your cube with. So for me, I am lubing my new cube, the GAN V100. That cube out of the box is very fast, so I would like to slow it down a bit. In order to do that, we use thick lubricants. So mostly silicone based ones. So I might not use all of these lubes. This is silicone weight 5. This is normally used in the core if you have springs. So with newer cubes you won't need this, as most new cubes have maglev in the core. However, weight 5 can be good to just slow down the cube if it's too fast. These also come with syringes at the end. This is just a stopper, so it doesn't go anywhere. I am actually running out of weight 5. I don't have much left. This is Angstrom, Gravitas and Dignitas. This is a very common piece lube that people put on the edges and the corners of the cube in order to slow it down and make it feel a bit gummy in the beginning. But once you break it in, it evens out and it makes the turning very smooth. So you apply both Angstrom, Gravitas and Dignitas. D&M 37 is a water-based lube, so you only need to put in a few, maybe 2 or 3 drops, then break it in, and it will significantly increase the speed of your cube. Normally we do this after we've slowed it down. On most of the cubicle lubricants on the back, they do give you instructions on how to use it. So as it says here, to use, simply apply 3 to 4 drops to your cube and break in. You will also need some tissue paper in order to wipe out factory lube, because some cubes come from the factory already lubed and you don't want to mix any of these types of lubes with the factory lube, as you don't know what it's made of, so it can react differently. So step 1 of the lubing process would be to take apart the cube. So how you do it is you pull apart and very carefully you pull an edge out. If it's loose enough like this, you can easily just pop the edge out. However, the tensions on some of the cubes that come from the factories are very tight, so you will have to use the tensioning tools in order to loosen the cube first before you take an edge out, as if you're too rough with it, it can snap the edge, so you need to be very careful in this process. Once you have an edge out, you then take the next corner out, and then you begin to disassemble the cube, being very careful as you go. Right now I can definitely feel that this was factory lubed, so after I take this apart I will be wiping down each piece and wiping off all the lubricant from the factory. This is the fully disassembled cube. As you can see, it's very shiny. I can already feel the lube going everywhere. So now I will sort the pieces and wipe off all the lube. So I've now wiped off all the factory lube. This is a process that will take time. Don't rush this, as you want to make sure it's perfect. So make sure you're taking off all the lube from all the contact points of the cube. Once you've wiped off all the lubricant, you now have to reassemble the cube. So the way that I like to reassemble the cube is get the 2 edge pieces that are next to each other. So I will start with the white and blue. So if you pop it in there, and then I will look for the white and red edge. Put it in like so. This can be quite fiddly. Once I have this in place, I now get the corresponding corner. So yeah, that's now clipped in place. So now I will build the edge on top of that, so the blue and red edge add to the next layer. So now I will turn the cube and add the corresponding green and white piece, and now the corner piece. This is a lot of trial and error. I've taken apart a lot of cubes and it can be a bit fiddly, especially with the magnets going a bit haywire, but if you do it carefully you should be able to do it with no problems. So then you build up each piece, and once you get to the last layer, I will show you what to do next. Once you get to this point, you then insert the corner piece. So with this, you start with a corner piece, then an edge piece, then the next corner piece, then another corner piece, and then the second to last edge piece. This is where it can get a bit tricky, so make sure you're not ramming it in. So you will leave an edge piece out. This is where we start lubricating the cube. So you put the last corner in. You'll leave the cube for now like this with the opening here. So this is where you'll start lubricating the cube. For the first set of lubes I will be using is Angstrom Gravitas and Dignitas. So we'll start off with Angstrom Gravitas. The way this lube is used is by putting it on the internal edge pieces. It comes with these applicators, so you make sure not to use a lot, just a small blob, and you take the edge and you start putting it on the inside of the cube piece. So you put it anywhere where there will be friction on the cube, so around there and underneath. Make sure to put not a lot, just enough. So you put it underneath this edge piece here. Make sure to evenly distribute it. That seems like enough. And then you put this down for now. Now for Dignitas, you can put it on the insides of the pieces. You can put a lot more Dignitas in. You use a different applicator, and this is where we'll get some on here. And you can coat the inside of the pieces here. It's quite hard to see as the internals are black on this cube. And it's okay if you get a little bit of lube on the outside of the cube, as you can wipe that away. So yeah, make sure you're putting it on all the contact points on the inside of the cube. Now the next step is to put the edge piece back in and break in the lubricant. When you're putting the edge back in, make sure not to squish it in, as it might break the piece. Just gently. There you go. And now you just break in. And you'll start to feel the lube being distributed. So if you do a couple turns, I can still feel that it's still quite fast, so I might add a bit more. This cube is definitely not slowed down enough, so I will be adding a bit more Angstrom Gravitas into it. So off camera I added more Angstrom Gravitas to the cube in order to make it a bit slower. So next, I feel like I want this cube to be a lot more smoother feeling. So I've decided I'm going to put in some FC Calm. So this is also a piece lube, however you don't need to take apart the cube in order to apply it. So it says on the back 3 to 4 drops and in the puzzle and break in. So how you do it is you pull apart the sides and drop it in the cube, like in that piece here. I think I'm going to add 3 drops just to be safe. I don't want to overlube this cube. Just do it to the side. 1, 2, 3. And then do a bunch of moves on the cube to help distribute. Okay, I can feel it definitely working. It's a lot smoother. With FC Calm, it doesn't slow down the cube at all. It just makes it a lot smoother feeling. So I feel like this setup is actually pretty good for me. I don't feel like I need to speed it up anymore. Sometimes if the cube is quite slow, I add a bit of DNM37, but right now I feel like it's an okay speed. It's still pretty fast, but it's nice and smooth feeling. Once you've finished putting all your lubes in your cube, just make sure to break it in. This is also where you would tension your cube if you've loosened it at all in order to take it apart. So off camera now, I will just tension my cube and change the center cap, and then I'll be back. So yeah, I've now set up all my tensions and lubed up my cube and put on the new limited edition center cap. So yeah, now your cube should be feeling nice and smooth. Not too fast, not too gummy. So that's my tutorial on how you can lube your speed cube in the year of 2025. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys soon.